Shai, how much of tonight's on defense do you chalk up to some really high-level shot making by them, some contested threes from LeBron and some of their secondary guys as well, like Rui?
Yeah, they were good tonight in terms of shot making. Some of it is you tip your hat. Some of it is they were a little bit too comfortable early in the game. Kind of played in a rhythm. And when you give guys of that caliber, a skill level rhythm, it's tough to stop and slow down. I think that's what we ran into tonight.
I know you obviously haven't seen it yet, but do you think that when you look at the film, you'll see a bunch of wide open shots for you guys tonight that would normally go down?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a make or miss league. Some games the ball goes in more than it should. Some games it doesn't go in as much as it should. Now you don't want to rely on shot making to win games and be a really good team. But yeah, so you're gonna have nights like that for sure.
Shai, I'm curious because obviously expectations have changed for you guys. Teams are defending you differently this year. For a team that's dependent on its offense as much as it has, I'm curious because you're not always gonna have super efficient nights. Just what has to happen to kind of supplement some of the shot making tonight?
Just more attention to detail defensively. Like I said, I think they were a little bit too comfortable early. And when we're not making shots at our usual rate, it just gives us less margin of error, and that we can't afford.
Shai, AD before the game said this was a must-win. Darvin Ham backed him up on that, said they needed to win, and Mark said they were they played like the more desperate team. Did you get a sense of that, and did you guys have to try to match the intensity they had to start?
Yeah, they sure. I mean, personally, I feel like we were playing really hard. We did have like a gap in the second quarter where we weren't firing defensively, and we weren't like ourselves offensively. And like I said, with a team that talented, and when you don't make shots against a team that talented, that's in rhythm, you just have less margin of error.
Shai, I'm curious. Maybe I'm reading too deep into this, but it felt like tonight there were maybe more jump passes, more passes at a shot than usual. I'm just curious what about their interior defense maybe led to that.
For myself?
From the whole team.
I think they just try to pack the paint. Good rim protection. I think we did a pretty good job of spraying and passing out of drives and stuff like that. Just didn't make as much shots as usual.
Is it first quarter? Both teams are really scoring up and down the floor. Is it easy to kind of get lulled into because the scoring does come so easy to forget? Maybe not forget about the defense, but maybe not concentrate as hard on it.
That can happen. You can get complacent when you're scoring so well. Yeah, we haven't been that throughout the year. Obviously, we're not perfect, and we'll have periods of times like that, but it's definitely a possibility.
Anybody else? Thank you, Shai.
Welcome.
Nick Gallo, OKC Thunder. Chet, how much of tonight do you maybe set aside in terms of shot making on both ends versus some controllable stuff for you all as you kind of try to digest this one?
You don't want to leave it up to shot making because you can't just walk in the arena and be like, we're not making shots tonight, so let's just lose the game. There were some shots tonight that we've hit on other nights that we're confident in hitting that just didn't go in. But at the end of the day, we have to adjust in games and find different ways to win basketball games other than just making more shots than the other team. And credit to the Lakers, they made a lot of shots tonight, and they came out on top.
It seemed like one of the ways that you personally tried to adjust is just really impact the game with your rebounding. Was that something? Obviously you go into every game like that, but was there a way that you were able to get that done tonight that you liked?
Yeah, I always try to impact the game in more ways than scoring, whether the ball is going in for me or not. But I definitely feel like I turned it up a notch in that aspect down the stretch. But I should be doing that all game long, whether it's going in or not. So that's an area I can improve in.
Chet, with as talented offensively as this team is, obviously you guys are probably going to win a good bunch of games just off shot making. But I'm curious, you mentioned different ways of winning basketball games. Just what you see tonight, maybe that could have been done differently outside of shot making to help you win.
I mean, there was a few things. Just our physicality and aggressiveness on the defensive end. We could have been better. Could have been better with rotations. Could have been better in coverages. I personally could have been better. One-on-one defense as well. Every single night you're going to come out of the game and be like, we could have been better at pretty much everything we were doing. It's an imperfect game, but you just kind of got to understand that and chase getting as close to it as possible. So we got to get back in the film room and practice and continue to work towards going in the right direction on that.
Sure, and obviously LeBron is still great. Had 40 tonight, and he was everywhere. Just what you see from him, and I guess what were your intentions defensively in trying to maybe limit him?
Yeah. He had a great game tonight. He made some really tough shots and made great plays down the stretch. At the end of the day, you got to guard him with 5, and force him to play on your terms and not his own. And we didn't do that tonight. So next time we got to be better at that.
Just looking at it, it seemed tonight like more often than normal, even on some shots where you had great contests at the rim and in the paint, they made some really tough shots. Did it feel that way to you, that you were contesting well and they made some? And is that frustrating?
Nah, you can't get frustrated with it because you have to just trust that when you make the right play, no matter what the outcome is, you just got to trust making the right play, whether that's going up to contest a shot or shooting the right shot, making the right pass, making the right rotation, whatever it might be. You just have to trust it because if you don't trust it, I guess, then you can't really get on to the next thing, because then you're giving up something there. So just continue to trust it, whether they're making shots or not.
Did it seem that way? I mean, did you feel like you were contesting the way you normally do, and some stuff was going in?
I felt like I had some good contests that they still made shots on, but I still feel like I can be better.
Chet, on most nights, going against other bigs, you'll either have a guy who's smaller who can kind of keep up with you foot speed, or a guy who's a little bit bigger who can't. Tonight you face AD, who's pretty similarly built to you, where he can stay on the perimeter and contest shots. What's the challenge of going against a guy like that who's matches up with you pretty well?
You said it. He's got size and length, but he can also move his feet as well. So, you got to find different ways than just physical advantages to play against him. And there were some points in the game where I did that as well as other guys on the court, but we just got to continue to be better at that and come back next game.
And now you've had a couple shots of LeBron in the regular season. Can you just talk about the difference of just playing him in person versus, a lot of kids watch highlights of him, watch regular games versus being in there?
I mean, you're not looking at a screen. You're actually out there playing. I'd say, he's a really good player. You can see it on TV. You can see it in real time. And that's kind of what it is. But you're not so much focused on who you're playing against rather than other than you're playing against the Lakers and you got to try and win the game. So that's the focus, and that's what we were focused on.
You expected LeBron and Anthony Davis, those are the two headliners, but then Rudy comes out and he doesn't miss, and D'Angelo Russell's knocking down threes. Just talk about the headache of dealing with the other guys who kind of contributed tonight.
I mean, it's the NBA. Every team has a bunch of good players, not just a couple. And good players make plays. They made plays tonight, but at the end of the day, we can be better. Not only at guarding their main engine guys, but the rest of their roster as well. Credit to them. They made big plays tonight and came out with the W. We got to be better next time.
Nick Gallo, OKC Thunder, missed shots by you guys and made shots by them. Could have altered you guys' approach in that second half. What did it take to stay in it long enough to give yourselves a chance in that fourth quarter?
Started playing defense. Just too many. When you have good players and you give them easy looks to start the game, too much confidence to kind of flow into kind of shut it down. But I think after the second quarter, like, we won the game just based off like numbers. But when you start, down 20, they did credit to them. Obviously, they hit shots, but just too comfortable to start the game. But yeah, I mean, if you do like the makes and misses, it's probably every game. I bet teams probably play us, and like if they would have missed a couple we made, they would have won. But yeah, we just didn't get stops early, and then that obviously had a snowball effect playing down 20.
On the other side of the ball, do you anticipate that when you guys watch the film, you'll say, "Hey, our process was good. We got good looks. We just we missed some that we would normally make here."
Yeah, for sure. And like every player feels that way, especially when you shoot shots that you work on. Second quarter, it got sticky. We didn't move the ball really well, and then we let their length kind of get in the game, and they did a good job of loading on us, and so we had a couple bad possessions, and that turned into good offensive possessions for them. Yeah, they've been picking up the pace offensively, and then we add into the fact that we didn't shoot it well, and we were shooting a lot of like tough contested ones. Kind of played in their hands, but after that we settled in, played defense, kind of stuck with it, and got the game kind of close.
Jada, lots being made of AD calling this a must-win game for the Lakers. In general, do you feel that this has been a more intense year night in and night out than last year was?
No, I don't really know or speak to like the must-win thing for him. I play every game like that, so I don't really know. But, yeah, I don't know. I think teams play us tougher, if that's what you're asking. In that regard, people don't really rest on our nights like that, but I don't know. I treat every game the same, so I don't really have the insight to how he probably feels about it.
You mentioned playing defense in the second half of that fourth quarter. You guys got it pretty close. Is there a degree to which you just sort of tip your cap to LeBron? Because a lot of the defense on that was pretty good down the stretch, and he just made plays.
Yeah, some of that's controllable too. Like I said, when you start the game and you give them open looks, or I think I dove by and he ended up gets in the layup. Like when you give him that look, he's comfortable the rest of the game. So then he's able to, feel a lot more comfortable shooting those shots. And obviously credit to him, like he still made them, and we were able to kind of boggle down. But like I said, when you're down 20 coming back, there's a level of comfort to shoot those and kind of be in rhythm. And we just didn't knock him off. And then he's a good player, so he's gonna hit tough shots. But if we can kind of control the ones early, I think that changes the outlook of the game.
I say this. Is that comfortability that you guys gave them? Does that come in the first quarter because both teams are up and down, trading licks, and you kind of like you're not forgetting about defense, but man, the scoring is just coming so good. You're not concentrating as hard on it. Maybe let them get comfortable.
That probably like feeds into it. I don't think his players were like, "Oh, we're scoring, like we're not gonna play defense." But that does that's basketball. It's easy to get caught up on wanting to play offense, and nobody in the offseason goes in there and is like doing defensive slides. So it's like, like everybody wants to score, and I think we did let that get ahead of ourselves, and I think it snowballed because we weren't making shots, but we were getting good looks, and I think we let that affect our defense, and obviously they were hitting shots as well. So I think that had a little mix of it too.
And then Jalen, you played against Chet in college. Now it's 2 years removed from that, and you're seeing him in the NBA completely healthy. What are the biggest strides you've seen from him just from your days playing against him in college to now?
Ironically, he's more like free. I feel like he's able to like really showcase a lot that he can do, and obviously that's college. Like you guys watch it, it's hard for me to watch. Like even my brother play, it's just like everybody's just standing in the lane. So he definitely has a lot more space. So I honestly didn't even really get to like see how much he's grown in that regard, but I just know he's really good now. But yeah, college it's just such a different game, and him in space, he's been doing a good job of getting to his spots, reading, how defenses are playing him, and he's a matchup problem for a lot of people because you can't really put anybody small on him, and he stretches the floor well. So yeah, I think defensively, honestly, I think is like the biggest takeaway from him as well.
You're making a lot of tough shots this year again. What would you attribute that to for the reasoning why you're able to get some shots over some tough defense?
Shooting shots that I worked on. So that's probably my quickest answer to that. I'm getting the spots that I like to be at, and just knowing the shots that I like to shoot. And, yeah. So I don't want to sit here and be arrogant and act like like I make tough shots, but I'm getting the spots that I like to be at on the court and stuff that I worked on.
Anybody else?
Cool. Appreciate it. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Shot making from them, from LeBron, and a bunch of open looks for you guys that didn't go down. Did this game kind of come down to misses and makes, or what did you see in that regard?
To a degree, it always does. But I thought in the first half, they were a little bit too comfortable. We gave up 71 points in the first half. It wasn't all the shot making. I thought they were in a pretty good groove and rhythm. They were ready to play. They were sharp. Give them credit. And then I thought our offense stalled for periods of the second quarter. And, we lost that quarter by 15 and won the rest of the game. So I think the lesson is, if you can keep the game in a manageable spot, you can withstand a cold streak of shooting. Obviously, we got great shots coming out of halftime that didn't fall. But instead of being down 16 or 18, you're down 10, and the game's still within reach. So that was kind of the story of the game, I thought.
I know you're forcing turnovers is a symptom, not a cause of your defense. You didn't do that at a high level tonight. Was there anything that they were doing offensively that prevented you guys from being as disruptive as you often are?
Well, they get to their spots. They make you deal with their matchups, and so they're not flying the ball around the floor. They're kind of just punching the ball to where they want to get it, forcing us to deal with that, which is a good strategy for them because they have really, really strong personnel. But I just didn't think our disruption and our activity and physicality, all the stuff that we kind of hang our hat on, I didn't think that was there in the first half especially. We got it going in the second half, but obviously we were playing from behind.
I'm curious because we talk about the shot making. Just at a certain point, Brian's getting the N1s. Austin has that 4-point play. Rui's hitting, moving middies. Just how much of that, because it did get probably incontrollable at some point, but how much of that did you feel was maybe solvable?
Obviously there's a part that's not, and they were sharp tonight. They were the better team clearly for the 48 minutes of the game. They were ready to play. We tip our hat to them for that. But we also want to, focus on the stuff in the game that's controllable. And when you put a team that's that caliber of shot making in rhythm, or you allow them to get to a rhythm, that's when that stuff starts to fall. And it's one thing if you're kind of touching them up and they're still making those shots. But I didn't think we had our fastball there defensively in the first half. And I thought that contributed to it to a degree. At least that's what we want our takeaway to be, so that we're looking in the mirror and not just kind of like, saying it's a make or miss league or something like that.
Yeah, I know Kaysen's kind of the guy at this point that slots in when a starter's missing, but with a team as big and as smart as that, just how much do you maybe weigh and value, slotting a guy in like Kemrich, maybe in Kaysen's slot to start the game?
Not enough obviously to do it, but I thought Kaysen's a really good defender. He can guard up. Dort can guard up. We have confidence in those guys, and we should have some advantages as well by playing like that. But credit LA. Obviously, they were the better team tonight.
Mark, AD said prior to the game that this was a must-win, and Darvin backed him up on that and said that they just felt like vibe-wise they really needed it.
Yep.
When a team as seasoned as they are, that's played as much as they have, has that kind of mentality, how much is there a challenge to just match what they can bring in a game they feel like they have to get?
Yeah, that was the challenge tonight. We knew what it was, and so did they. And credit them. They were the better team. They played. They backed that up tonight. They played like the more desperate team. And that's a battle-tested team that knows what they're doing. So it was a great experience for us to be in that. There's plenty of lessons we can draw from it. And that's what you want. You want to be, taking on the biggest challenges of competition. That's how you learn about yourselves, and it's how you learn about how to navigate an 82-game season.
And then when you guys got it to 8, it seemed like from there it was just kind of LeBron doing LeBron things. Were there things that you guys didn't do there to take stuff away? Or was it just kind of him? He made some difficult shots.
Yeah, those ones were tough, but credit him. Obviously, we've seen that movie before. He was on one tonight. He was really, really good. Obviously, he speaks for himself, but that was the difference at the end of the game.
You mentioned how you guys didn't have it all there defensively in the first half. How much do you think that was trying to adjust to the unorthodox lineup that the Lakers threw out there, if any?
No, I just thought, at the end of the day, they came out like a team that, was desperate for a win. I didn't think we came out like poor or sloppy or soft or anything like that, but we just didn't amp it up to the level that we needed to in that first half especially. And we allowed them to kind of get to a groove, and I thought that was really the game right there. So it's a good lesson for us. When we play, we're going to play a lot of teams that are going to come in here ready to throw their fastball, and we need to match that and exceed it.
And then 41 threes and 41 shots in the paint. I know you guys have 52 points there, but do you feel like you guys shied away a little bit, or is it just what the game was giving you guys?
It's kind of what the game was giving us. I thought we did a good job of penetrating. A lot of our threes were open. That obviously could have changed things, but we just don't want to be a team that's reliant on the most variant, part of basketball. We want to be a team that takes pride in doing the things that we can rely on every single night. And then on the nights where those shots go in, obviously we have talented players. Like, we're going to have plenty of nights where the shots do fall. Then you're extending leads, but you got to build your foundation with something other than just shot making.
With Daigneault going to the bench, LeBron kind of runs point. Did that change anything for you there? You expected, I guess.
No, I thought that was that move. My interpretation of it was a physicality move to get Vanderbilt out there defensively on the glass, offensive glass, and they were going to play kind of power ball at that point. With that lineup, they were going to try to go right at the front of the rim, and that's what they did. I thought James and Davis, they played through those guys tonight. Those guys were at the front of the rim on us. They made us deal with them. Like I said, give them a lot of credit. They were sharp.
You kind of answered, did you like the shots you were getting? Because you shot really hot from three, and then I think you were like 7 of the last 35 you made threes after that.
Yeah, most of the game, I thought. I thought we had, in the second quarter a little bit, we had lapses where we settled a little and we weren't as stubborn as we need to be in terms of driving the ball and kind of imposing our style and then letting the chips fall where they may. But I thought the majority of the game we did that and, obviously missed shots tonight.
Mark, when you talk about defense, a lot of times you've mentioned with great players, you can't give them the same look twice. You got to switch it up. With a guy like LeBron who's been around and has seen essentially every coverage you can throw out, what's the process like of game planning for a guy like that?
Similar, you got to make him at least think on his toes. You can't throw the same thing every single time. You can't be predictable. I thought the zone was good for us. We were able to disrupt some rhythm there in the fourth by zoning them, and that was good. That helped us get back in the game a little bit. But, he's obviously who he is for a reason. He's a great, great player.
Anybody else? Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you. Oh, by the way, you guys and our fans, just happy holidays. Appreciate all the work you guys do. Appreciate our fans. Hope you guys have a great couple days here.